I've been carrying the Glock 19 Gen 5 for about 3 years now. There's been so much excitement about the Shadow Systems MR920 on YouTube. It piqued my curiosity, so I had to get one and do a side-by-side comparison. The first thing I noticed about the MR920 is that it looks better and it's lighter. It's about 2 ounces lighter than the Glock 19. The next thing I noticed is the way the MR920 feels in my hand. The MR920 has more aggressive stippling than the G19. I noticed that my middle finger on my firing hand rests higher up on the trigger guard here, and my index finger on my support hand rests higher up on the trigger guard here. There's a lot of talk on the internet about the MR920 having a different grip angle. It is true you can change out the back straps on either one of these guns, but that's only going to change the angle here. But you're not going to be able to change the grip angle on the front strap where your fingers go. It's going to have the same grip angle as it always has ever since the Glock Gen 1 first came out. Truly changing the grip angle would mean a complete redesign of the magazine and the gun, because the rounds would have to feed at a completely different angle than they do now. The next noticeable difference is the finger pads on the MR920 are stippled and the G19 they are not. The MR920 also has a ledge at the bottom of the finger pads. I like resting my trigger finger here when it's straight and off the trigger, and I do like using that little ledge on the finger pad on the left side to help stabilize the gun when firing. Not that it has a lot of recoil, but I think every little bit helps. I can't do a fair comparison on the trigger because I have an Apex on the Glock 19 and the MR920 has the stock metal trigger. As far as how they feel, I'd rate the Apex as being better just because it's smoother and it's also well broken in, but there's nothing wrong with the Shadow Systems trigger either. And there's no telling how this Shadow Systems trigger will feel 1,000 rounds from now. It might actually feel better than the Apex. The MR920 has a blacked out rear sight and the front's a really bright fluorescent yellow. And the front sight is tritium. When I bought this Glock 19, it came from the factory with the Ameriglow bold sights. Both the front and rear had tritium vials, and you can't really tell because it's in bright sunlight right now, but the rear sights are green and the front sight is a bright fluorescent orange. Here's a top view of both slides. You can see that the MR920 is optics ready and the Glock 19 is not. I'll cover a couple of other cosmetic differences before I move on to how both guns shot against each other. The earlier versions of the Gen 5 came out without the front slide serrations. I waited a little while and got mine with both front and rear slide serrations. As of the recording of this video, you can get the MR920 with 3 different types of slide serrations. You can get the MR920 Combat, which is the one I have here. You can get the Elite, which has similar slide serrations, but it also has a slide cut. And you can also get the MR920 Foundation. And we all know what a Glock 19 barrel looks like, nothing special to look at. I do want to show you a close-up of the MR920 spiral fluted barrel. There are several differences between the Glock 19 Gen 5 and MR920, but I just wanted to go over a few obvious ones. What's important to me is how they shoot in a side-by-side comparison. I want to see if there's any difference between the MR920 and Glock 19 in regards to accuracy. There's nothing scientific about this accuracy test. I'm not going to bench rest it or anything like that. I'll be shooting at 10 yards and I'll use 3 different types of ammo. I'll shoot Igman 115 grain, Monarch 115 grain, and Blazer 124 grain, all FMJ. The next few minutes may be boring if you don't like watching other people shoot, so if you just want to see what the results are, just scrub to the end of the video. I'm going to be doing 5-shot groups. I'll shoot 5 with the Glock 19 and 5 with the MR920 with all 3 types of ammo and compare them side by side. I'm going to start with the Glock 19, shooting the Igman 115 grain FMJ on the upper left-hand target. Okay, that's 5 rounds. Let's see how I did. And that's not my best grouping, but that's how I did today. So let's see how I do using the same ammunition with the MR920. Okay, and there's my group with the MR920 using the Igman 115 grain. And that's an okay group with a Glock 19. Let's see how I do with the MR920 using the Monarch. And here's my group with the MR920 using the Monarch. You can see it in comparison to the Glock 19 there on the left. I think my group's a little better with the MR920. Now go back to the Glock 19 and use a Blazer 124 grain in the lower left-hand target. Alright, let's see how I did. And I do not like that group. It should be tighter at 10 yards. It definitely spread out using the 124 grain. Now I'm going to shoot the Blazer 124 grain using the MR920. Okay, let's see how I did with the MR920 using the Blazer 124 grain. And that group's a little better than I did with the Glock 19. And there's the Monarch 115 grain. And there's the Igman. And I didn't film it, but I did take a shot of the target when I was done. This is a Wilson combat barrel inside the Glock 19 using Bellum 115 grain at 7 yards. I thought that was a pretty good group. I know it's only 7 yards, but that's pretty tight. So the Wilson combat barrel is a little bit better than the stock Glock barrel, at least for me. And on that same day, this is what I was able to do with the MR920, also at 7 yards. And that's more than a 5-shot group. That's a whole magazine right there. I hope you found this video interesting. If you did, please hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment if you compared your Glock 19 to the MR920 or any other gun. I'd like to hear how it went and see which one you liked better. Thanks for watching.